Hey, Genki Call here with your campaign tasks for the week of September 5th, 2022. Drifting Sands week and your events coming up for the week, what you can get with your event keys, and let's start with your campaign tasks. So, for gold, use a jewelry weapon for 15 wins. Super easy, even if you're low level, because Black Manacles is considered jewelry, and that's a really good one to try. And explore Drifting Sands 4 times at difficulty 2 plus. For silver, complete 2 adventure boards, 2 delves at level 30 plus, 2 treasure hunts with 60 plus turns, and use the desert banner for 10 wins. For bronze, open 30 gold chests, open 2 event chests, use Dervish class for 3 wins, use a Drifting Sands team for 3 wins, get 7 monster kills, match 60 brown gems in battle, get 10 brown kills, kill Scorpius 1 time. He's not actually in the weekly event, that was an error. Use a vault key to kill 1 treasure gnome and craft 1 summoning stone, so nothing bad here at all. Except for the treasure hunt if you don't like doing those, so nothing too bad. For Drifting Sands, as far as your event keys go, what you can get with your event keys, that is totally the wrong way. I did not mean to do that. I meant to click on Drifting Sands this. Alright. So, let's sort this by base rarity. The troops that you can get, and I have them all, I'm sure of it, but the troops that you can get, alright, you will not be able to get Tapisarth. This is a dragon you have to craft in the Soul Forge. And let's see, of course you won't be able to get the Deep Hive faction troops here, like Queen Beatrix. You gotta get her down at the Deep Hive with your Chaos Shards. Also, the other ones are Moth Mage, Scarab Knight, Moth Mage, and the last one is Beetle Blade. Those troops you have to get in the underworld, and then you won't be able to get the Tapisarth. Everything else here is fair game, and you will be able to get them with your event keys. We've got Scorpius. I really like Scorpius. He insta-kills. The problem is that there are a lot of troops that are immune to poison, so you would have to have something to stun your enemies or curse them if they're immune to poison. Otherwise, things are going to slow down immensely. But you run this guy with, my favorite is, what's his name? Magnus, who poisons all enemies on match 4s. No, he poisons all enemies when he casts. Euryale poisons all enemies on match 4. She's another one you can run him with to do this instant kill. At the moment, I think the only kingdom with no troops that are immune to poison is... Sorry, Nexus, although I'm not positive about Hellcrag. That one may be alright as well, but gotta be really careful with delving if you're going to use this guy. Something of note here, all brown allies gain 1 to all stats at the start of each turn, making him really nice to run with the Archduke, because that'll get his magic up more every turn, which means closer to insta-kill every single turn. So Scorpius is nice. He's a little outdated at this point. People have other ways they like to do these things, but he is a good troop. Shyvana Vespera is definitely a favorite of mine. I really love using this troop. She is fantastic for Guild Wars. Give your magic, half of your magic +1 to a random skill to an ally. Create 9 gems of their mana color, then repeat 2 more times for random allies. If you put her on a monochromatic team, so all blue, all purple, or all yellow, she's going to loop and loop and loop and loop, and it's fantastic. And every time she loops, these stats are all going up and she can cast on herself. I think that I have a Mythic Spotlight on Shyvana, and if I do, I'll put that at the end in a thumbnail for you to click on. This is actually quite bad, but it's a summons. You can use them as a meat shield, basically. But anyway, Obragonia. I keep forgetting about Obragonia. She does damage to all enemies and bleeds them. The damage to all enemies is really useful for quick delving when you've got your horde boosted up. Of course, this number goes up a lot, so she's really nice for quick delves. And yeah, the rest of this is okay. Queen Bee is awesome, but not in the drop table for your event keys. Saguaro does damage to the 2 weakest enemies and gains 10 life and attack. Damage, yeah, and then there's some skull stuff here. No skull damage reduction, but there is reflect. So I generally don't use this troop, but if you're limited for an event, it is something that does damage to multiple enemies, which can help speed things along. But nothing really notable as far as Saguaro goes. The Great Maw is great. If you don't have High King Iron Gut, there are teams that you can use where basically you use the Great Maw as a tank. It is going to devour, period, unless they're immune to devour. So it's good for delving. It can be used in PvP as well, but basically you throw this guy at the front, you tank with him. He can only cast once, even if you have 2 of them on your team, only 1 of them can cast. But, you know, when you devour, all of these values go up, and basically you just throw this at the front of your team and then try not to die. So, Bahir is, does damage to an enemy. If it's a monster, it will entangle them, and if they're a dragon, they do triple damage. The triple damage troops can be really useful. They're very niche, but they can be super useful in the right situation. This is one of the ones with the banding traits that I've never really paid too much attention to. It does do double skull damage versus both dragons and monsters, no skull damage reduction, but it does do some damage there. So the Desert Troll is definitely one that I would recommend trying to get. Just like the Forest Troll, but for yellow. So, of course, he's going to be really, really useful. If he ends up at the front of the team, he does double skull damage versus stunned enemies, gets extra life every turn, and gains 1 life on 4+ gem matches. Dragon Cruncher, another dragon, anti-dragon thing. So, if the enemy's a dragon, deal double damage, and there's a 50% chance to devour them. So another one that's really good against dragons. And double skull damage as well. Plus he's impervious, so that is always a nice thing. Faker the Wise is our glory troop this week. I'll be going over some more info on him when we get to that part of the video. But he's kind of like the poor man's Shabanu Vespera, except that he summons. So he gives your magic +1 to a random skill on an ally, then repeats that. So he may hit magic 1 time, he may hit magic twice, he may hit armor once and health once. You just don't know what he's going to do. I don't like the randomness of it, but it works really well with Shabanu, so that makes me think he might be okay. And then summons a random Drifting Sands troop. And by the way, that summons could be a mythic, and it could be anything from Deep Hive, including Queen Beatrix. So it's a way to possibly get Beatrix on your team before you have her. So that's something you could experiment with if you feel like doing something like that. Also, gains 1 magic when an ally casts a spell. That means this purple number is going to go up every time anything on your team casts. All allies get +2 random skill points, and all enemies lose 2 random skill points at the start of battle. Ifrit, scatter damage. It's just scatter damage. It's just not very powerful in general, but he does have the fire link, so you'll get bonus red mana from red gem matches. That means if you match 3 and don't get a mana surge, you'll actually get 4 out of it. If you do get a mana surge, you'll get the mana surge plus this. And then if he's at the front of the team, he burns them, but he doesn't have a bonus for damage to burning enemies, so it seems kind of pointless. Reed, you get this guy just for completing the storyline here. Damage to an enemy inflicts a random status effect. You can get some treasure maps out of it, but those are no, incredibly easy to get. So is stealthy. He's got the Stone Link, so bonus brown mana from gem matches, and he is a merchant, which means it's like necromancy for soul collecting. This is for gold collecting. You can get extra here if you have him traded. Let's see. Not here. Sanita. True damage to the last enemy and enrage them. This can actually be quite good in events. Generally don't use this troop, but I mean, it has potential. It's just there are other things that people like to use instead. Um, Immune to Devour and Stealthy, always nice. Sharptooth. Sharptooth is our siege breaker. So damage to an enemy with a 3 to 5 times damage for the spell and for the skulls if you have them traded. And a 30% chance to get an extra turn and a 30% chance to get mana back. So that'll be really great for when we have a tower event, the invasion event. For Drifting Sands, skull damage reduction by 30% is fantastic when you're going to be using the Siege Breaker thing, so that's pretty cool. I really like that for a Siege Breaker. Tyran and Rex. This one is our Godslayer, and so raid boss or any troop with a red border that's enraged, Kurandara, the Tiran scroll boss troops, the new dragons, any of those with a red border, and the ones in the dungeon as well. You get this 3 to 5 times damage, and for skulls as well. Dum bum bum. Ancient Golem. We fight this guy in Delves, and you know how annoying he can be in Delves, but still, he explodes 1 gem to spell a random enemy. That the spell means that if they have any positive status effects on them, it will take them away. Even if there are multiple, it will take them away. Deal true damage boosted by blue gems destroyed. He's not really a powerful troop, but you know, when you're on a level 500 delve, that's a lot of damage. He is impervious, so you can't kill him with High King Iron Gut. For instance, you can't devour him unless you have him cursed or stunned first. Desert Worm. This is another one that creates yellow damage to the last enemy and create yellow gems. He's a good troop, you know, for certain situations. Can't get Rock Spirit. Destroy a row and column. Destroy means as if they were matched. The scatter damage, it is boosted by brown gems destroyed, but the destroy means you will get all of those gems as if you matched them. So if there are 15 gems of various colors, you'll get 15 mana for your team, provided that they need those colors. Skull damage reduction by 50%. Immune to silence, always nice. Sand Shark. I don't like fighting the Sand Shark because of that 25% chance to devour. It always seems to hit when it's the AI doing it. Double skull damage versus death-marked enemies. Immune to Hunter's Mark, which is great. Sandrunner. Sandrunner is incredibly good in like world events. Really good in world events. Damage to the first and last enemies, then deal double damage to a random enemy. Super, super good for world events when we have them. If we can use him in the world event, I'm totally using him. And he starts battle with 75% mana, so really nice there. Skarabi is really good in arena. Damage to 2 random enemies, then stun and poison them. You can't choose, but he does start empowered, except in arena, of course, where you don't get any traits. And then, you know, what you see here. Sky Scorpion. Sky Scorpion can be used with Scorpius. Poisons and drains 7 mana from all enemies, then remove all skulls. But Basically, you want to make sure that Scorpius is ready to cast. You cast with this, the next turn you cast with Scorpius, and then hope that the poison doesn't wear off before you can get mana for Scorpius again, basically. It does have this air link with the bonus yellow mana. And yeah, he'd be fine to throw at the front of the team because once he casts, he's useless except as a meat shield. So and he does poison when he does skull damage, so that's a way to keep the first troop poisoned. Trihorn does damage to the first enemy, knocks them to the back, and repeats 2 more times, so that means he's hitting 3 enemies. Not for a lot of damage, but he does hit 3 enemies and totally mess up the enemy team. Agave, damage to an enemy, double if the enemy is enraged, so fighting something with say Ursula that enrages all enemies, he'll do double damage to them. Immune to Devour. He is a bounty hunter, but I never ever use him. I never use this for bounty, personally. And the Jin, this is the summons from Shabanu Vespera, by the way. So give life to an ally and either or. I don't like the either or, but eh. Dust Devil, this is a must-have if you plan to do the Ironhawk teams. You want to have 2 of these if you decide to do Ironhawk. You don't have to level this up to Mythic. There's no reason you have to, because he's just going to do the damage to all enemies flat out. Magic doesn't matter. You just need to cast him twice, or... oh, no, wait. Yeah, there is a team that uses 2 of these, but you want at least 1 for the Ironhawk meta team. I'll put the Ironhawk teams at the end of the video, along with the Shabanu Vespera one if I made that video. I think I did. But he's empowered and has the air link. So, Dust Devil, yeah. Sand Scuttler, what do we have here? Oh, this guy. So this guy is good for Arena if you can get mana for him quickly enough, but you don't have to own the troop to have him show up in Arena, so he's not fantastic, but he is good for that. Mad Prophet, give mana and 5 magic to all other allies, 1 cast only. Some people like to use this with Shabanu Vespera when they're going the purple route. I prefer a different troop, but it is something that you can do, so that's a lot of mana. Yeah, I mean, that can work. And then lastly, we have the Rock. Once again, good for Arena. Damage to an enemy, gain attack and life, 1 cast only. So that is it for what you can get with your event keys this week. Let's head over to the shop in a second. Here we go, shop. Go over to resources, grab your spoils of war, grab all 10 of these if you can. It's a fantastic deal for event keys. Every single event key you have is a chance at a mythic. And then head over to the weekly event and grab Faker the Wise. I already grabbed 1, but I have to have him up to mythic level because, you know, I need it. I'm power level blocked right now because I need another mythic level, or level 20 troop. So I do this every week. I've been doing this since I was pretty low level just because a teammate or a guild member told me the secret that it's a guaranteed level 20 for your kingdom when you need it for your power levels. So super grateful to have had that tip. If you can afford it, get multiple copies. And this is invaluable when you are low level. All of these trait stones, not having to grind for them is amazing. So if you can afford it, I recommend getting what you can so that you don't have to grind for the trait stone, so that you don't have to wait to get your power levels up. Also, we've got events this week. Let's go over this. So, Drifting Sands troop get plus 10% to skills, as do Mystics. So, if it's a Mystic from Drifting Sands, like, I think Queen Beatrix is a Mystic, I think. No, she's Wild Folk, my bad. But if it's a Mystic from Drifting Sands, plus 20% to the skills this week. And if you use Faker the Wise in PvP or Explore, you'll get an extra 40 souls. So there's that. And lastly, let's see. Yes, upcoming events for the week. So I mentioned the Deep Hive a couple of times here. That will be our Faction Assault on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we've got the Mini-Maw Pet Rescue. Thursday, we have the Dervish class trial, and this weekend's event is Bounty. Oh, joy, Bounty. That's okay. Really, really good rewards for Bounty. So at least there's that. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I will be back with a couple more videos for you today. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye!